Welcome to the official. You seem less enthralled the more I continue with this song.
That's fair.
Peter Kong! Jackson King! That's not the name of the game, it's fumbled up in different ways. Welcome to Jump In Play More, the official Xbox podcast for SFXX Play. And I am iChrisPanda alongside the incomparable, the inevitable, the sensational, the enigmatic enigma, Jeff Hardy.
Modest. Two-tap.
Foxxy Steve.
I'm Foxxy Steve, everybody.
So last week we discussed Xbox Originals launch lineup. A lot of games.
A lot of games.
Standout title, Shrek. For the aforementioned reasons of Shrek's dick.
Okay, yeah. That's fair.
Obviously the standout is Halo. That's stupid. What do you think it would be? Something else? No, you idiots. You listen to us for the real deal analytical prowess, and we know what we're talking about. And we're talking about the 360's launch lineup this week. It should be a good time. But before you do that, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe to this video on YouTube. And of course, if you don't know, our new patented lingo, scissor the notification bell. Get in there, ding ding, 1, 2, and make sure you're in it all day. And of course, if they're listening to us, Steve, what they got to do?
You need to get yourself over to our podcast services around the globe, starting with Spotify, and you can also go to Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts to get us there for your audio needs. Be sure to give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple.
5-star.
We need it so bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I can't drink clean water out of my own water bottles without a 5-star rating. I'd go to the store and buy them, and they're dirty still.
Yeah, me neither.
They see me when I come in. They go, "Oh, that's Foxxy Steve of the Xbox podcast. He sucks. He's not 5 stars over there."
Jump in this dirt, you bitch.
And no, they pee in the water and then give it to me.
It's horrible. I'm
rough.
treated like royalty. It's probably because I have the singing voice of an angel. Alanis Morissette wishes she could sing half as good as I can.
It's true.
So let's jump in
And play more.
and play more, man. Let's. Fun fact for those who don't know, I believe the 360's tagline was "Play more."
It was jump in.
It was jump in. I think Play More was the original Xbox then. So 360 was jump in. Play More was the original Xbox, or was it Xbox One was Play More? I don't remember. The title for the show is based off of the catchphrases for the consoles. If you put the pieces to the puzzle together, so jump in was the 360, and we're gonna jump in with the first title for the launch lineup, Amped 3. Steve,
I'm Steve.
thoughts on Amped 3?
It's just no more than game.
Anything else aside from that?
It's that SSX.
Okay.
I mean, it definitely took a more arcade approach versus the original, like, Amped on Xbox.
Oh no, the leap between Amped 1 to 2 to 3 is different in terms of presentation. Amped 1 was supposed to be a more grounded snowboarding experience. Amped 2, because I have played all these games. Amped 2 was a little more arcadey, which is the one, if you're gonna play an Amped on the original Xbox, you should be playing Amped 2, bar none. Amped 1 sucks. Amped 2 is much better. Then Amped 3 really took it over the top with its zany storytelling, its weird atmosphere. The gameplay wasn't that bad. The graphics were pretty good at the time. And it's not a bad game. It is an arcade style snowboarding game, but you really have to sit and like wrap yourself around how it kind of handles, because it is not like anything else you've played. It's a little different, but once you get adjusted to it, it's not a bad game. It's not a bad game. Should we look at the score for Amped 3?
I think we should.
Okay. Metacritic of 72.
Well, it's not terrible.
No, it's not. Next game, big one, Call of Duty 2. Now, Call of Duty 2 was my first big exposure to the 360. I knew the 360 was coming out. I wanted to see it firsthand. And I did everything in my power to get to a demo unit of an Xbox 360. The problem was every time I got to one, they were always crowded. Everybody wanted to touch it because it was the new big thing, right? And on top of that, it was just sometimes they weren't working. They weren't working. Or they were just like the video units and not like an actual demo unit. Mm-hmm. But this is how old this is, guys. And I can't stress this enough to you listeners out there. There was one store nearby where I lived. It was Comp USA. Now I know what you're saying.
Oh shit!
What the hell is a Comp USA?
Where was there a Comp USA?
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Where? What is that store right now? Not Giant Eagle, but like Big Lots.
Oh. Oh my God.
Yeah, that used to be a Comp USA. So, okay, that was me explaining stores without giving a location. We're in Ohio, so Giant Eagle exists. That's fine. But I went to a Comp USA and they had a 360 demo unit, and there was nobody going to it because it was a Comp USA.
It's a Comp USA. No one goes to Comp USA.
Yeah, so whenever my mother at the time would have to go to the grocery store, which was right next to it, I would go to Comp USA. And I'd be like, yeah, I'll just go into this computer store. And I would just be sitting there playing that goddamn demo unit. And Call of Duty 2 was the most amazing, mind-blowing thing I've ever seen. The graphics were fantastic. The sudden movement of everything from Halo. Because I was playing Halo, and Halo was a really floaty shooter at the time. Because you're a space marine. It makes sense. And Call of Duty 2 felt so grounded. And obviously there was Big Red 1. But it is not the same as base Call of Duty. And wow, it was something else for me. It really was something else for me. It was one of those like big experiences because everybody talked about how amazing and revolutionary Call of Duty 1 was. Because I don't know if you remember when Call of Duty 1 first came out and the praise it got because World War II games were not done like that. They were like, oh, you're a dude and here's like Nazis. No, this was like, you're storming the beaches of Normandy and motherfuckers are dying next to you. And it was super cinematic. Mm-hmm. And nothing was like that. And Call of Duty 2 just like escalated that. And it was on console. So it was mind-blowing to me. It was mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, Call of Duty 2, I remember seeing it on at a Best Buy. And something about it just didn't click with me at the time when I saw it. I was like, I'm trying to remember when, like, that title just did not wow me like I thought it would. It could have just been that it was just on maybe the display it was on wasn't very good. It was on some kind of a Samsung LCD at the time at the Best Buy, and maybe it didn't do the game justice at the time because it just wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't hidden for me. I was just like, oh no, I don't want to buy a 360 based off what I'm looking at for this particular game.
And that's why I have to say Steve is insane because he likes Alpha Protocol. So
there's just potential. I'm not saying the game was good.
So,
oh my God.
Call of Duty Metacritic average on 360, 89.
It's good. It's a good score.
It's an 89. And it's just died. The franchise died after that one.
Yeah, nothing else. We've heard nothing of Call of Duty ever since.
Yep, since 2005. Shame. Condemned Criminal Origins. What do you have to say about Condemned Criminal Origins?
Too spooky for me, sir.
Oh.
I'll tell you what.
You didn't like Bum Fight Simulator?
That's how you realize that he's just fighting bums.
There he is. Let me doodle in his mouth.
No, Condemned was actually interesting. Like, that was an interesting series with that and the sequel. It's kind of weird that like those two came out and then there was just nothing because it was definitely not a bad game at all.
No, it was a psychological like survival horror game in first person. A lot of detective work. It's funny enough, I wasn't captivated by it because my survival horror, like, my captivation comes from characters and setting, and that game had an interesting setting and it was kind of spooky, especially like the mannequin part. But like the character, I was just like, I don't care. I like third person horror more than anything, and I've told people this a lot. So like when Dead Space 1 and 2 came out, I was super captivated by it. Dead Space 3, not so much. I love Resident Evil. It took a lot of convincing for me to play Resident Evil 7. You can ask him. You were just like, I think it's gonna be good, and I was like, it's in first person, it's gonna be ass. It's gonna be super ass. I fucking love Resident Evil 7. I love that. I love Village, and I was like, okay, But most first-person horror games, I do not like. I like getting to be the character and having the expression of the character. So when I saw Condemned, I was just like, man, he's just a dude with a flashlight going, oh man, that's some good detective work right there. Look at this pipe. And that was the game. And it was like, oh, shooting was wonky. The pipe stuff was interesting, I guess, because you had to pick melee weapons up from like the walls or something like that to like fend off homeless people from attacking you with doo-doo fingers. like I know you're following like a murder or something like that, and I think it's interesting. But yeah, I don't know.
Look out for those bumps. They're gonna get you.
They will definitely get you. The Metacritic, 81.
A solid game. I think I played it. I think I owned it at some point, or own it on PC or something.
You might own it on PC. I know it's always been like really dirt cheap on PC, so it's not bad. All right, now here's the part that I know you're excited for. FIFA 06 FIFA World Cup.
Oh man, I'm sure highly attuned, as we all know.
Okay, who is that on the cover?
To the that is obviously Akeem Olajuwon.
That's Ronaldinho. Do you know who Ronaldinho is?
No.
Okay. All right.
Some kind of car.
It is obvious to see that Steve does not know the football.
I do not know the football.
I have never played FIFA 06 World Cup. I'm going to ask, have you ever played FIFA 06 World Cup?
It's a big hell no.
Cool. This game got a reception, a Metacritic rating of 62.
Oh.
I think we know why we didn't play.
Oh, shit.
And that's not to say I don't play FIFA games. I've played FIFA Street. I've played Mario Soccer. I have played FIFA... What's the last one to come? 22? I played that one. And I think a couple years back I played like FIFA 20. So those are my recent FIFA games. I have played FIFA.
Yeah, you've got more experience than I have. I've never owned a soccer game.
It was just that, during the time frame of that, did not give two shits about soccer or football, depending on which audience is listening to it. It was not my forte. Mm-hmm. And now I've gotten mature, and I've understood. I like a lot more sports now because I respect athletes and respect what you have to do and how it plays out.
Absolutely, yeah. I also like a lot more sports now. Will I play a soccer game to this point? No. Will I play the new Mario Strikers? No, because you guys are going to just murder my face off in them.
Oh my God, calm down. Listen, I can get you to play a soccer game. I can get you to play one. And better yet, I can get you to watch a soccer match. And I think you'll be enthralled at how tense
soccer.
It is. It's really...
Oh no, watching soccer is very fun.
Watching it and playing it is both pretty good. And I think you'd have time. It's just that, yeah, you have to just say fuck and try it. Gun. So Gun, Western shooter by Activision. Who else made this game? Beanox did the PC version and Neversoft. Didn't know that. So I remember Gun coming out on original Xbox and PS2, and the praises that game was getting was crazy.
It got good reviews. I played it on Xbox original, and it was quite good.
It was a lot, and because there wasn't a Western game like that before, and this was before Red Dead Redemption had come out. So it was an open world-ish Western game, and it was the horse physics were good, the shooting was good, the story was good.
Yeah,
People
I actually
really captivated.
I prefer it over the original Red Dead Revolver.
A lot of people did. I think Red Dead Revolver had some interesting ideas, but the execution wasn't properly there.
Yeah, because that was not a Rockstar game. That was
I think that was Capcom.
It was a separate deal. Then Rockstar bought the.
Yeah, then they went ahead and bought it. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting to say the least. Metacritic average 79. So far, from what I've listed, at least for the North American release, these are some really good launch titles.
Yeah, it's a strong lineup so far.
And then we get Cameo, Elements of Power. Now, Steve, how do you feel about Cameo? Now, I ask this because you've recently played Cameo for the first time.
I think here's the okay. I think they had some interesting ideas to try to give it a unique spin, right? Mm-hmm. Being able to be this kind of druid type elf, right? You're changing into stuff, and there's some physics-based things in there. Mm-hmm. I just don't think any of it worked well together at all.
Now, do you think that because it doesn't work well now, Or do you think even if you played it back then, you'd be saying the same thing?
I would say the same
Okay.
thing. It's not that long ago. Okay.
I mean, it's long enough.
It is long, but it's still this bad. And even the way they like present everything is clearly this game was rushed like crazy.
What's weird is it's not rushed. This game was in development since GameCube.
It doesn't look like
Before Rare got picked up, it was on GameCube, and then they were like, okay, bam. And then they got bought out by Xbox, and I was like, cool, we're gonna put Cameo on Xbox. Bam. And then they're like, hey, we want you to put it out by 360. And they're like, okay. And then they ported it over to 360. That's how that game came to be.
Seems like a lot of games happen that way.
It was, man, the sign of the times was just...
Yeah, Cameo is definitely not my bag. I remember when I first saw Cameo, because I'm old, you know, I sold the 360 when it came out, and seeing Cameo, and I'm like, because I was looking for reasons to buy the system at launch, and I'm like, this was not it. At least for me, I was like, I don't like how it looks at all. It didn't sell me. And then actually playing the thing, I was right.
I was
right, goddammit. The way they present that intro is just so, it feels so like slapdash together, and I don't know, I didn't care for it.
I remember playing Cameo's demo, also a part of the weird CompUSA deal, and I was
Shout out to CompUSA.
Shout out to CompUSA, man.
It doesn't exist anymore. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it does, but I remember loving it. I thought CompUSA was great. Holy fuck, it still does. Oh, okay.
Maybe for the folks who don't live like around a micro center, that's where to go.
Right, I guess, or something. I don't know.
I've never even seen one.
Yeah, that's why I was shocked. I didn't know it existed until I went there, and I was like, "There's a 360 in here." But I remember playing Cameo. I've played Cameo multiple times. I played the demo, and I was like, "It looks interesting." I didn't really sit down with it because I just wanted to play Call of Duty 2, or like Project Gotham Racing. Later on down the line, I remember picking up on a 360 bargain bin. If you haven't heard any of our previous podcasts, like Off the Rails, I think at one point, maybe even during the Xbox podcast, I remember one of those times during at least one of our podcasts, we have mentioned going to a GameStop, and GameStop used to have ridiculous deals. They don't do that no more, but they used to have deals where you could go in and you can get like 5 360 games for like $10.
Yeah.
And there was always a bin, and you know, some of the times the games were ass.
Mm-hmm.
And they were ass. But then sometimes you can find some stuff you didn't know you would actually like Stuntman Ignition. I got that in a bargain bin, and I was like, wow, this game is like way better than the first one. And for like $2, Magnifique. I remember getting that. I remember getting Dark Sector. I remember getting Too Human.
I was gonna shout out to Dark Sector.
Shout out to Dark Sector. I remember getting Too Human, Cameo, Forza Motorsport 2 and Forza Motorsport 2 and Sega Superstars Tennis.
Yeah, that was the combo pack.
The other one was Lego Batman and Pure. Mm-hmm. Both of those combo packs, really good combo pack deals.
Yeah.
I remember getting these games, giving them at least a shot. PGR 3, PGR 4. These games were like really cheap, and I remember getting Cameo through one of them, and I was just like, okay. And I spent a little bit of time with it. You know how when you were playing it here recently on the much more modern Xbox, and you kind of stopped right as the weird cutscene happened and everything transitioned? Mm-hmm. That's where I stopped on 360. I never thought that game felt great.
No, it doesn't. It does not feel good to play.
It's weird. The weird trigger fighting mechanics. I was just like, this is not what I wanted. I wanted like a traditional platformer type of aesthetic and feel. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't do that.
And it's a shame because the concepts are there. Like, it's like being able to like take a guy and fling him onto like your spiky back and then like throw him into stuff. Like, that's cool.
Oh, it has some really interesting ideas.
It just helps.
The execution is not solid.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I will say this. It does feel better than Grab by the Ghoulies. So, Rare, you did one-up yourself, but Grab by the Ghoulies still sucks shit. Metacritic average of 79 for Cameo.
That is much higher than I thought it'd be.
I guarantee you Grab by the Ghoulies is much lower.
I'm sure.
It sucks. Sucks shit. Madden NFL 06. Have you played Madden 06 on 360 specifically?
I don't like it.
Okay. So both you and I can talk about this.
Horrifying eyes.
Okay. So Madden 06. Okay, so I have to predate the game with the trailer for the game. So for those who have never seen the Madden 06 trailer, the trailer was like the most egregious thing in the world.
It's not the game at all.
Because everybody at the time, if you're kind of looking at it, was like, okay, this is next gen. And I think EA lied.
Oh, dude, because it's at the line of scrimmage, and the ball is there, and the guys are lining up,
snowing,
and you can see the breath coming out of the.
And people were just like, oh my god, this is what it's gonna look like. And EA, I think, was like, yeah.
No.
And that game looked nothing like that. This was during the same time frame where Sony was like, Killzone 2? That's real.
Yeah, you're getting shit like Killzone, yeah.
That's real, all right?
You're getting literally scammed at E3.
People were putting out these CG trailers and saying this is what the game is, and it was not like that at all.
No, it wasn't.
So we were getting rigged. We were getting jerry-rigged with an experience that never happened. I played Madden NFL 06 on original Xbox, and I thought it was weird because of the vision cone, but I still had a good time. Then you get this game, and it is a bare bones football game, and it sucks ass.
And it looks weird. Everybody's eyes are big and black like aliens.
It's so bizarre, and this is hilarious to me because this is right off of the NFL 2K5 being the better football game, but being like EA buying the NFL exclusivity.
Yep.
So this is the first thing you got to show for it, first next gen debut, and it is just bad.
And you're sitting here like, this is what we have to look forward to for the next.
Oh my god, it was so scary. people were actually like, oh no. And then like, thankfully, Madden NFL 07 the year after was better. But it was kind of like, meh, it was still very meh.
Yeah, they didn't start getting unmeh until they got the devs from 2K5 working on the game. Yeah, and then you could tell when it got better.
08 and 09, I think, was when it was. And it was like, yeah, you can start feeling that the football games are better. But man, 06, fucking rough. It's ugly. It's weird. I don't like it. Fuck you.
What's that Metacritic?
The Metacritic for 360, I gotta scroll through it because you know they got a lot of them. 74.
What was it on the original Xbox? I'm curious.
86.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, they could have just ported that shit and been better off. Probably.
They would have been better off. Up-resing the graphics using the same engine with all the same things, but they were like, we gotta try to make it next gen.
Gotta make it next gen. Gotta use this new hardware, HD. Well, that's a budget.
Yeah. NBA 2K6. So, have you played NBA 2K6?
No, not that I recall.
All right, so I'm a big sports person, if you couldn't tell. I played a lot of NBA 2K, NFL 2K. I even played NHL 2K at one point, and World Series Baseball 2K, and NCAA college football, and I think NCAA March Madness. No, college hoops, because it wasn't called March Madness. I played almost every line of 2K sports title there is, including Top Spin, because 2K took that from us. Anywho.
Yeah, we ain't getting another one of those.
Anywho, NBA 2K6 comes out. I remember playing it also on original Xbox. I thought the game was good, because in hindsight now, they have progressed a lot. That series actually has leaps and bounds gotten better and better and better in some way, shape, or form. People can criticize it all you want now, but...
Yes, I played a lot of 2K5. But not 2K6.
But man, it's
I didn't have a 360.
Yeah. Well, it was on original Xbox as well.
That's true. I don't know why we stopped. We just kind of fell out of buying them, I guess, every year.
And both games were largely the same from what I remember. It's just 360 had a nicer coat of paint on it, really.
Yeah, that's usually.
It wasn't like anything crazy. I don't think there was one defining thing about the 360 version. It was just like, you get it because you have a 360.
Me and my cousin saw it. We saw 2K6 and all these things, and we were like, you mean to tell me you want me to pay at least $400 for Sweat? Because we didn't see any other feature that made it next, make it worth it to get. So
at the time, there was not. There was not anything that made it feel next gen.
No, I'm not trying to buy this system, spend all this money because back then, in 2005, broke as fuck.
Yeah.
So I'm like, nah.
Literally the only reason I said you get it is because during the time frame, you have that experience of NBA 2K6 on that console because you don't have it on anything else. So if you're getting a 360 and you want it, then you're not like doing yourself a disservice by getting it. I thought at the time it was still a solid game, but I was like, I have it on original Xbox. I don't see a need to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So that game actually had a decent Metacritic score, 81. The original Xbox, 84. So it's like,
yeah, it's a solid. There's always been a solid series, no matter what.
NBA Live 06.
Yep.
Is there something you'd like to say?
I got nothing for you. We didn't. I hadn't played a live game in a while once 2K came out.
Okay, so, like again, the sports guy I am, I played NBA Live on PS2, PSP, original Xbox, and 360.
That's a lot.
I played it a lot of places. The most I played it on was PSP because it was on the go and it was just whenever pick up basketball. Okay, original Xbox. This was just a better looking version of NBA Live 05. You had your dunk contest from 05. A little bit better, more stuff to do in NBA Live 06. That was the most compelling part. 360, I think, did not have the dunk contest. I don't think it had the 3-point shootout. It was shit. It did exactly the same thing that Madden did. They said, let's take away a good chunk of the game and put it out with a little bit of sweat. Oh, and it shows because the game sucks. The Metacritic, take a guess what it is on original Xbox.
Probably like a solid 80.
79.
Okay.
Take a guess what it is on 360.
Probably if it's 79, probably 69, something like that.
Nice. 64.
64, okay.
64. The game is not worth the effort. And that's how we end that. Need for Speed, Most Wanted.
Oh man, I was so jealous. That was the game. That was the game where I'm like, shit, I wish I had a 360.
It did look run better, and I think it had a longer draw distance.
You had better draw distance. You had more police.
More songs.
You
more
had
police officers.
More police officers chasing you. Because the police chases and Most Wanted in general were insane compared to the ones that came before with the amount of cops that came after you.
Yeah.
And on 360, it was just racing games always look. That's usually one of the best litmus tests for a next gen system is like racing games,
right.
Sports games, and they're done right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
For that graphical fidelity. And man, I wanted Most Wanted on 360 so bad.
Yeah, I had Most Wanted on 360. Close to launch, a little bit after it. That game's price has never dropped. It is so hard to, during the time frame of the 360, Most Wanted was one of those games that if you wanted it, because it was so good, which you're aware of, people wanted that game for years. I remember in when did the 360 come out? 05? 09, I think Most Wanted was still selling used for $30.
I wonder how much is it now? I'm curious.
It was insane. How much is it now?
I'm just curious to see.
That's a good question.
Because I would love to revisit that game. I know it hasn't aged well, a lot of racing games haven't, but I would love to revisit it.
Because
I wonder if it's even backwards compatible.
That is a good question. I don't know. I know a few games are backwards compatible that I wouldn't expect, but yeah. Something. Okay, Google just didn't even work.
Why is it every time we start to record, internet takes a shit?
It was just Google. Google just didn't want to give up, so I'll just go to eBay. This game still sells complete in box on manual. The first price I see is $40.
Oh my god.
This game has not lost its value. Meanwhile, you can get the Criterion one for $3.
Yeah.
It really is a difference.
I'm trying to get into a Bmw M3, okay, with a little body kit on there.
It's iconic. It's a very iconic look because that game was different.
Okay.
You want to see the weird CG, not CG cutscenes.
Okay. That's when they started doing that shit too, with the Most Wanted, and they kept doing it for years.
Yeah,
they did these weird.
They did that They did Most Wanted. They did Carbon. Ooh, what came after that? It might have been Hot. No,
it wasn't The Run.
It was Shift.
Was it Shift?
Yeah. They had that time frame where it was Shift 2.
That's right. Shift and Shift 2 happened.
Underground. No, not Underground. Undercover.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the other one?
There was Need for Speed, The Run.
The one with the really big roads.
The Run.
No, not The Road.
It wasn't The Run?
It was something with a semi-green color.
Oh my god. And they had a Need for Speed on the Wii as well. That wasn't.
Yeah, and it was
amazing.
like a shift something.
Oh
We had a
god.
lot of them. It was so many.
And they were like.
There were a lot of Need for Speed games. When you think about it, it's like, damn.
Yeah, and after Carbon, things just.
Oh, they started
taking a nosedive in quality.
It took them till Hot Pursuit to get back on track to like at least being.
Oh my
decent.
god, yeah, Hot Pursuit was good, and then
The Run was like Most Wanted, but it was the story. It was
yeah.
But yeah, Most Wanted has retained its value. It still holds up to this day. Probably is one of the best Need for Speed games you can play. And yeah, the Metacritic average is 83.
I'm gonna try to secure a copy of that just because.
I don't blame you. It's a fun game.
Because none of them play like that game still. Like, you know, it was cool being able to like trap. Like try to get the heat off by like running through like the support beams of a donut shop, and the donut thing would fall and take out a bunch of cop cars.
Yeah, it was definitely a good game.
It was cool.
NHL 2K6.
Right over my head, no idea.
Okay, all right. You know what? I don't blame you because I actually didn't play this game. It's hockey.
It's hacky. Was it good hacky?
I don't know. It says that it was 75 on Metacritic.
That's decent hacky.
And it's the only hockey on 360. So if you were a person who wanted to slap a puck,
that's what you're doing.
That's what you're doing because there was nothing else. Perfect Dark Zero. The way I had to let a side read it, and then you had to give a side once you heard it. So
you hear about games.
We
right?
recently played a Perfect Dark Zero.
You hear about these things in legend. You know, like it came out. I saw it on the shelves. I promptly ignored it because I didn't have an N64, so the gravitas of what was Perfect Dark never really landed with me. Not realizing like just how much they shipped the dead versus the original one. With this one, like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then last week happened.
So I had a touchstone for original Perfect Dark. I had touchstone for GoldenEye because I was an N64 child. I didn't have a PlayStation. I didn't have a Saturn. I had a Dreamcast, but
a lot of folks didn't have
their only touchstone for first-person shooters on Dreamcast was like Outrigger and like Quake, I think. So there was more first-person shooter offerings on N64 with World Is Not Enough, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark.
N64 was a place to be for first-person shooters.
It was the N64 was the first-person shooter system.
Yeah, that was the place to be.
You had Medal of Honor on PlayStation.
I mean, yeah, but N64, like, it was literally made,
I don't remember anything
like, the
else.
way you had an analog, because keep in mind, PlayStation, we didn't even get analog control for a long time.
I know.
So, N64 for a while was, like, the place to be.
Exactly. So like I said, I played Perfect Dark. I remember having such fond memories of Perfect Dark. It was one of the best experiences you could have. I remember playing it by myself with bots. I remember playing it for the campaign. I remember playing it multiplayer with friends, 4-player split screen, having a pizza party. You got your Pizza Hut popping. It's a good time. You
get a pizza with hot dogs attached to it, like in that thing.
I think that was a Little Caesar. No, that was a Pizza Hut thing. I don't remember. That's not the one.
I'm so goddamn fat. I'm like, yeah, I'll try.
It's gone. It did exist.
That actually existed.
Yeah, that's why I was like, when you guys were talking about it, I was like, this happened before. Y'all don't remember this? And I was like, oh, whatever. But I remember playing it, having a good time. And then when they announced Zero, I was so ecstatic because I was like, I'm going to be able to live Joanna Dark again. And the premise sounded good. The premise is it's a precursor to the original events of Perfect Dark. So it's going to have a little bit more serious of a tone, but it's still going to keep some future sci-fi elements to it. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You don't have to go crazy with aliens and whatnot like the original Perfect Dark. You get this. And then you play it. Now it's modern. It is modern. You do dual analog control.
Sure.
But it is, it's off.
It's real off.
It's just really off.
Oh my god.
That's the best way I can describe it.
I didn't feel good playing it. Like, the motion blur was out of control.
Lots of motion blur. Lots of motion blur.
Motion blur.
Lots of motion blur. Lots of weird, like, they gave you cover mechanics and a dodge roll, and you couldn't have multiple weapons. You could only have up to a certain amount, depending on 4 spaces of your.
The way the levels were even laid out, I didn't care for. I didn't care for the way that the mission structures were set
how
up.
people looked.
Nope, none of the people looked right. It didn't look good. It didn't look good versus other Call of Duty 2 blows that game out of the water.
Visually, 1000%. Quake 4, which we're going to get to in a minute, looks a million times better.
Like, this isn't a situation of, old game is old. No, that game versus its contemporaries was rough.
Now, the worst part is, through the years, I found out it also went through a life cycle where it was supposed to be on original Xbox, and then they were told to put it to 360. So at some point, this game was older, and it was probably going to be more, at least a little bit better in terms of like, it's a little older, so it's fine. Versus, we got to do a Call of Duty 2, and that game just feels much better.
Yeah.
So it was rough. Now here is the best part. It did feature multiplayer, and the multiplayer, it was good. The thing is that when I played it, bargain bin adventures. Then I got into a match with 2 people.
Yep. So you got nobody to play it online with.
No, nobody was playing that shit. You know why? Because Call of Duty 4 was out. Halo 3 was out.
Yeah.
Nobody's playing this garbage ass shit. This game was booty water, and nobody wanted to play it. Only people playing it were very poor children, and their parents were like, I want to get Halo 3. Shut the fuck up. How about you get the grades up, bitch? Have this $2 game and get the fuck out of my face. I'm like, it'll do. And then they're playing it, and they're just like, this is more of a punishment than me not getting a game. That's what I'm gonna do. Parents, this is the real shit. I want you to do some research. Next time your kids ask for a game and they've been fucking up in school or doing bad shit, be like, I'm not getting you what you want, but I will get you a game because I do love you.
I'm gonna get you a video. I'm gonna get you a game, all right.
And you gotta tell me, and you better play that shit. And it's gonna be ass. I want you to get them really bad games, just like Chicken Shoot, just something real fucked. And you're like, I better see you fucking play that game too. And if you don't play it, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Get them Darkest of Days,
just
Retribution,
absolute ass. Proper parenting. Air Guys is a much nicer game. Somebody will find fun in that. You gotta find like Rogue Warrior or Ride to, okay, maybe not Ride to Hell because it's got like weird sex scenes, but like,
nah, these kids know Grand Theft Auto, and their clothes are on.
Either way, my point stands. Perfect Dark Zero is very interesting. Like in terms of like multiplayer, it was supposed to have like 20v20 matches.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And I remember seeing it at the time, and I was like, yo, that's crazy. And people who played it when it was 20v20, they were like, we're having a lot of fun. And I could see that. Multiplayer can make most first-person shooter games much better. Mm-hmm. They had jetpacks, they had like vehicle sections, tons of different weapon options, tons of different modes. The maps were okay, but of course, remember, I was playing with like 3-4 people at most, so it was really bad for that. But it just didn't hold a candle to the original Perfect Dark.
Like, it's crazy, because then we went back and played the original Perfect Dark, and it is boosted and everything, versus the Zero, which isn't on Series X. But even without it, like you can tell, like, the game is just so much better. Like, it's so much more satisfying, because it's the old GoldenEye way of doing things, pretty much. And so it's just, you feel more precise. I had a lot more control in terms of what I wanted to shoot and where, and I had more awareness of where I was going and what the objective was and what's going on and the layout. The game is so much simpler visually, but it's so much better in every way. Like, it's nuts. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Just sometimes games just are better.
What's that Metacritic?
81
for Perfect Dark Zero.
Yeah. I told you at the time, people liked it. It was not bad. It's just in hindsight. The worst part is hindsight really kills that game. Like, I didn't really much care for it at the time from playing, I think, a demo. But hindsight, yeah, that game.
No wonder it's taking so long to get another Perfect Dark.
Yeah, because the last game it really burned fans.
You know,
like, I think it burned fans more than it burned like critics. Critics were probably like, no, it has a lot to offer. The multiplayer is really good. The single player isn't that bad. But I think fans are just like, this isn't Perfect Dark. And I think that's what killed them the most. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the new Perfect Dark game is
Initiative.
Perfect Dark.
This is Initiative's first game out. And it's one of the most important things for the new systems. So I feel like it's going through all of this. Usually, one of two things. If you're getting all these different changes and issues behind the scenes of development, either it's going poorly, or they want this thing to hit so well that if there's something wrong, they're like, nope, we gotta nail it.
Yeah. All right. Gonna have to yawn for this one because it's gonna be a long title. Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie.
Oh man, I love Peter Jackson's King Kong, official game of the movie.
So, have you ever seen this movie?
Peter Jackson's King Kong? I have seen Peter Jackson's King Kong on loop.
Oh,
because
I'm so sorry.
Because
I already know the answer to that one. Yeah, when I was a serious. It was not man that killed the bee.
yeah, it was on in the background all the time. So
I thought the movie was okay. You know, I didn't think it was bad. I think it was visually okay in certain sections.
Well, you had Jack Black in it.
Yeah, just
Jack
to get
Black
to the
thing.
part at the end though, it was like, whew, it was like 2.5 hours if I remember right.
It was a long. It's Peter. It's a long movie.
It's a long fucking movie.
It takes its time.
So the game is an accurate representation of that because it was a long draw to get to big King Kong stuff, but people did like it.
Yeah, like that was another game that actually impressed me with the visuals.
It did not impress me at all. Probably because I didn't want to watch it. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you like, oh yeah, they look great to me. No, my thing is, and I tell people this, I have certain times I'm like, you know what, there is a potential that I may like that. Fallout 3, for instance, now I have no interest in any Fallout. But when they first showed Fallout 3, I was captivated, I was moved, I thought the game was going to be incredible, and I was going to play it because it has so many things to do.
And it is incredible. Chris is just
It's
wrong.
just not for me.
He's just wrong.
It's just not for me.
He's wrong.
How am I wrong for it not being for me? God damn. Well,
kidding.
truthfully, the reason I don't like Fallout is because I was lied to. Not even because I fucked up in the beginning several times, but because I was actually lied to. When they first were showing off the game, I remember specifically the E3 that they first had like the big trailer, and I think it was like 07 or 08. They were talking to, I think, Todd Howard about it on G4, and he was explaining, yeah, Fallout 3 is going to be great. You'll be able to go around the city, find loose trash and debris, and be able to craft your own weapons. Like, look, and it was a fat boy. And it was like, look, this is a rocket launcher that shoots nukes made of teddy bears. And they did it. That does not exist in the game. At all. That whole idea and concept, fucking gone.
Yeah, they probably took it out or something.
I was so motivated by a game where it was like, yeah, you get to go around and whatever you pick up, you can mold into a weapon of some sort to make it so
Yeah,
that
I
you
didn't
can
know
live.
about that.
Yeah.
And I was excited for Fallout 3. I remember the trailer coming out and being really impressed.
I was so upset that they got rid of this thing. And I was like, okay, maybe it can be fine. And then when I initially played it, I kept fucking up. Granted, I also tried playing that game on like a 24-inch TV that didn't have HD. So reading text was hard.
Oh dear.
Trying to decipher where to go, really hard. And it was a little rough. But I digress. Peter Jackson's King Kong is a very similar story for me. Not in the sense that I was not captivated to try the game, but it was just... It flew under my radar for what I wanted to do.
And usually when you see a game based on a movie, I immediately write it off because I'm like, it's gonna be shit. And I did it with that too, until I actually saw like gameplay of it, and I'm like, it was at night and it was raining in the forest, and I'm like, God damn, that's some good ass water.
It was a good looking game.
Goddamn.
Funny enough, all I remember is stabbing big spiders. So
there's a lot of that.
That's why I was like, that was my thing. I was like, this game looks like it's gonna bore the shit out of me. And I would have been right. Because if I was just gonna stab big spiders, I probably would have been bored. So, but, you know, that comes with the territory.
It was one of those surprises though, because it did do pretty decent critically.
It did. And because of that, it got an 80 on Metacritic. A lot of people really did like it. Next game, Project Gotham Racing 3.
Yes.
So PGR 3, the third entry in Microsoft's then, just dropped my phone, Microsoft's then flagship racing title, Project Gotham Racing. Did you play any of Project Gotham Racing 3?
No, of course. I've had every Project Gotham racing game.
Cool, even 4 with the bikes. That's how I remember it was different, because we were like, how do we stand out?
I was pretty excited. I'm excited anytime they throw motorcycles in. Granted, I usually suck. Like Midnight Club, they put motorcycles in, and I was ass for a while. Then I got really good at them.
Oh, I was using them in Midnight Club a lot, and then I would be very sketchy because, you know, that game was fast as hell.
You're very fast.
The moment you hit something, though,
it's done.
Get ready to lose.
Yeah.
It was a wrap.
But yeah, PGR 3 was...
it was super good looking.
Dude, it was dope.
It was pretty. It felt good to control. Like that, to me, that is my favorite Project Gotham racing game in terms of visual aesthetic and in terms of control. because I feel like it had the best feeling driving of any of them to come out.
It was so fun. I was, and I'm pretty sure I got it on the cheap by the time I got a 360 and got around to playing it.
Same.
But yeah, I was very impressed by it. This was when I already had like Forza 2. Forza 3, I don't know if it came out yet or not by the time I got PGR, but like, yeah, PGR was dope. It's an excellent racing game.
I'm really upset that the Project Gotham Racing series is dead.
Yeah.
Because I do like those games, but I feel like there's no need to have them, especially the way Forza has kind of like leveled the playing field for like their sim and their arcade experience.
Yeah, when you got stuff like Forza out there, you still got Grid out there doing well.
Yeah, Project Cars, you have
the Crew. Whatever they do next for Need for Speed, because I know Need for Speed Heat was actually pretty good.
It was well received. So, people liked it. So.
There's no room for PGR to really come back as far as I can tell.
No. It's fine. I get it. I just liked it. I thought it wasn't like even crazy different, to be honest. It just had a different, the only thing that they made it different was like, yeah, you're not only racing the timer and the people around you, you're also racing for a good score with kudos, which is like, yeah, you draft or you drift. Yeah, you just have to not hit walls and be good with it.
That's what really added a little more spice to the normal racing with that kudos system, because that way you're motivated to do more than just race normally.
But it was good. People liked it. Had a very good Metacritic score. If I'm correct, this looks like an 88 to me.
It's damn good. I want to revisit those at some point.
They're very good games. Now, next game, Quake 4.
I never played Quake 4.
I played Quake 4 very briefly. I wanted to play it online. I got around to playing Quake 4 when nobody was playing it online.
See.
So I didn't get a chance to do that, but I did get to play some of the single player, and it was pretty. It had a lot of gore to it. It was kind of dark. It was like the Doom 3 stuff, but like the visuals were really good. Character models were really nice looking. Audio design was good. The way the game felt was good, but it wasn't like Doom 3 where it was like overly dark. It just had had some dark corridors here and there. Quake 3, not bad. I don't want to talk about it too much. 360 Metacritic 75, PC 81.
Yeah, that makes sense though. It's probably gonna be better on the PC.
Yeah, I think it was a better PC game. Ridge Racer 6, another racing game for the 360 launch cycle.
It's a lot of racing games.
Now, I know that you are not a big Ridge Racer player.
Not anymore, no. I got out somewhere around the PS2 era.
This is when I kind of got in, was like Ridge Racer 6 and 7.
I think R4 was probably the last thing I played.
Actually, no, it was Ridge Racer PSP was when I started playing it. And like 6, 7, the 3DS one, and then the last Ridge Racer console game, which I don't remember, Unbounded or Streetwise, I don't fucking remember. It wasn't good. Ridge Racer 6 was a very simplistic arcade game. Fun fact, it actually works backwards compatible on your current systems, and I think you can download it for like $10.
Oh, wow.
So, I highly recommend it personally. I think Ridge Racer has a very unique feel to it. The whole game is drift-based, and you have to drive and drift around corners and evade your opponents to drift, build up your boost meter, boost on out of there.
From what I remember of Ridge Racer, you can drift so damn hard in that game, you're pretty much driving sideways.
Yes.
It's just...
If you want to talk arcadey, this is definitely arcade to the max. I enjoy the hell out of Ridge Racer. My biggest complaint with Ridge Racer is every single race is 3 fucking laps. And some of these tracks, god damn, they be like 3-4 minutes just for one lap. And I'll be like, please, just give me 2 laps. That's all I'm asking. Nope, fuck you. And it's, I'm just like, okay, cool, man.
R4 was weird. They had like a protagonist in there, like a story mode or something.
Yeah, that was the PS2 one. I remember because it had the weird chick on the front of it.
Yep.
So, yeah. Metacritic score is 74. Very by the books, arcade racer. I don't think you're going to get much
It's will fade
out of
into the shadow.
Yeah, it's pretty much gone to time. It's fine. If they bring Ridge Racer back, by all means. But I think, who makes this again?
Namco.
Yes, Namco. I think they ain't doing that.
No, I don't see them doing
because
that.
It's Bandai Namco, they ain't doing that.
No.
They like, we got Elden Ring and Tekken and Gundam. We got anime.
Yeah, they're like, Ridge what?
It was like, we got anime,
You
Elden
mean the rich
Ring.
wallet we keep all of our money in?
We don't need your bullshit ass racing games. We got bullshit ass games to put out. Buy another Gundam game, you dumb bitch. I was like, okay. No, that's no offense to you people who like these Gundam games. Some of them are probably okay. I can't speak on them because, you know, they really like to take money from you.
You know what I can't make fun of? Jump Force.
I can make fun of a lot of the anime games they put out. Demon Slayer, $60, $70, not worth the money. Naruto Shinobi Butoden Strikers, whatever the fuck it was. The big Xenoverse-esque game for Naruto, not good when it came out. It cost too much. They did fix it though, apparently. It's much better now, but I have no interest. Hell, Xenoverse, which is still getting support.
They're still shitting out content for this game. Oh my god, I had a different job when that shit came out.
The One Piece adventure game they recently came out with, bad. Just late Gundam Crossfire, which was a PS3 launch title, which is completely unrelated. I don't think they even had control over that. That's not the point. The point is, if it's anime nowadays, usually they got their foot in it, and usually it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
So, but that's for another topic, for another show. Tiger Woods PGA Tour 06.
It's golf.
It is golf. I don't have anything to say about it.
It's golf, baby. I don't know what to tell you.
I can tell you it's an EA game, so if you can follow the trend, original Xbox, 81, 360, 71.
Oh my god.
I don't know what they were doing. I really don't. It's just golf. I don't know.
They were, they wanted to get these games out by a certain date, and the way EA does things, they were like, okay, we clearly can't put all the content in it, so if you want to have it look really good, so we're going to just focus on the visuals, and we're not going to worry about the rest of this shit until the next one.
I don't think there was a next one on 360.
Oh.
I don't think. I may be wrong. I don't know. Anywho, our final game, Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. Now, I would ask you, do you have anything to say about Tony Hawk's American Wasteland? But I think I know the answer.
That's going to be a big fat no, brother. Because, I kind of have missed all the Tony Hawk games.
Yep.
Of course I saw it. We sold it. Saw all the trailers for it. I'm like, okay, it looks from an outsider's perspective, and it just seemed like Thug, like more Thug, but more of like a Jackass spin on it.
No, that was Thug 2.
Oh, that was Thug 2. Okay, so American Wasteland is
after that.
And this is like, what is this one about then?
Okay, so Tony Hawk's American Wasteland is basically the first time they introduced BMX bikes into the series, and I think like the only time. It was kind of based around the revolutionizing of skateboarding, and you're trying to help the guy who did it, and it's based around like LA and certain parts of it. So it's not bad. It is more of the same like Tony Hawk Underground, but it's not as good as Tony Hawk Underground.
Yeah, I got about that kind of reception from it when it was out. It didn't get as good of reviews, and I was like, huh.
So to be completely honest, the moment American Wasteland came out, the Tony Hawk's games started to hit that point where people were like, this shit is boring. And it felt like, so to be fair, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, 2, 3, and 4, every game felt like a monumental leap for the series. Mm-hmm. And then people were like, where can you go from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4? Where it was like, you get a map, you go around, you do missions. Tony Hawk's Underground, big story, big campaign. People were like, this is incredible. And it did really well. Underground 2 was kind of more of the same, except like you said, with a Jackass spin, and it was way over the top. It was received well gameplay-wise. I think people were just like, the story's whatever. It's kind of okay. And that's the way I felt about it too when I was playing these games. Like, I didn't care for Thug 2 nearly as much as I care for Thug 1. I always thought it was better, and it is better. And then American Wasteland was just like, I think you're dying. I think you're fucking dying on your feet. And boy howdy, after that one was Project 8. And Project 8 was like better, but it wasn't as good. I remember playing the demo for Project 8 a lot because not only was it graphically better, this was the first actual next-gen Tony Hawk game, but it was just bleh. It wasn't great. And then they did Proving Ground, which was really bad because by then it had to compete with Skate. And Skate 1 killed that whole
Yeah,
series.
Skate is when I got into skateboarding things, and Skate was so good. Skate 2 and
Skate 1, Skate 2, Skate 3, all good. I think you can play every single one of them on Game Pass. I may be wrong. I don't know. Who cares? The point is, American Wasteland, very meh, very mediocre game. If you like Tony Hawk, I think people were going to get it. But, yeah.
Ooh, on the Wii you had American Skateland.
Yeah, and that wasn't that great either. So, Metacritic 75. Yeah, very ho-hum.
I know it's multi-platform too. I believe it came out on last gen as well, right?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It was only 77 on like original Xbox.
Okay.
That was the whole game was just blah. So, from what I'm seeing here, the lowest Metacritic score for these were like NBA Live or Madden 06 around like the 60-ish range.
Which isn't bad.
Other than that, like it was Tiger Woods was like 71.
Mm-hmm.
Madden and NBA were like 60 something, at least 64 and up. Everything else was like 70 and up.
Yeah, it's a strong launch lineup.
This launch lineup was really damn good. I think the standout is, for me, it's Call of Duty 2 or like Project Gotham Racing.
Mm-hmm.
I think Call of Duty 2 is a landmark title, and obviously because that series just, after that one, it only got better, and then Call of Duty 3 made it worse, and then Call of Duty 4 shot it to the fucking moon.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, PGR came out, and it did really well, and it kind of faltered, and then it was okay, but like there was at least a strong showing for most every audience.
It was a strong showing. The only thing that's missing really is that there's not that defining game in that launch lineup that persists to this day. You know what I mean? Like defining console exclusive killer app like Xbox releasing with Halo that happened with 360 right away, because we were still waiting for Halo 3 for
Halo 3 didn't come out until 2007.
Yeah, that was quite the wait. I remember the trailer and being excited for them when the teaser dropped.
Well, most people were waiting for Gears of War, which didn't come out till the next year.
Yeah.
And for me, personally, the thing I wanted most from the launch lineup of 360 was Dead Rising. And that didn't come out till December. Like, if you're talking launch window, the window gets exponentially better.
Yeah, the window gets great. It's just launch day. It's like
launch day, if you're buying the system day one and you got some stuff to choose, you'd probably be okay. You'd probably
be all
play
right.
some stuff.
Yeah, you'd be all right. It's just if you're like when I was, they're debating on getting it, I'm like, a lot of these titles weren't hitting for me personally. I had plenty to do on the Xbox original and the PS2, and I'm like, I could wait. And then of course, the Ring of Death happened, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait. That sucker happened, and I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna just wait and see how this plays out. But yeah, like I wonder how different things would look if like Gears dropped day one on that sucker or something like that. That'd be great, because Gears 1 still looks good, like to this day. I'm impressed by how Gears of War 1 looks.
Yeah.
Like the little details in that game.
It's very interesting to me. Like I said, launch window is very standoutish for me. I want to highlight a couple launch window games, and we're gonna just start getting to the wrapping this show up for you real quick. Fight Night Round 3. Fight Night Round 3 was, and I don't know if you remember this, when they first started showing it, people were blown away.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It was
people really liked Fight Night at the time. People still like Fight Night, by the way. EA. And people were just like, oh man, here's the last gen version. It looked good. It did. I remember playing it, and it was good. It did look good, and it was. But that next gen version, so much more blood, face rippling, sweat.
Yeah, the detail was insane.
It was like, whoa, that was like a next gen sports game, and it wasn't fake.
It wasn't a CG trailer.
It wasn't a CG trailer. It was actually how it looked. The outfit was a launch window game that I have to highlight, not because the game is good, because it sucks ass, but the outfit did something very good that a lot of games were starting to borrow from and use a lot of, and that was destructibility. And that was one of the console defining things around that time frame.
Yeah.
Because it was like, this was Mercenaries, but prettier. It had more to it. So everything was explosive in the outfit. That's all it was. It wasn't like, the Mercenaries was still better, and you could play that on last gen, so it was better. But outfit was brighter, had more stuff to it, and lots of destruction. People wanted that. full auto, same idea. Particle effects, explosions, people were blown away by it. And to me, it still holds up in terms of like, wow, this is crazy that the game does that. It's just that it's a one-trick pony. It's interesting, but not interesting enough. It's fine. It is what it is. Dead Rising.
Yeah, that was the other game that made me go, holy shit.
Dead Rising was the first 360 game that I was like, I need a 360. That was the one I wanted for it, because when they showed, it was a trailer and Frank West was in the basement for the first time. He was on a truck and he was surrounded by zombies. And I was just like, there is no game that does that.
Yeah, you look at that game and go, this is not possible on previous gen. Like,
yeah.
You know, and then of course, they tried to chop till you drop on the Wii.
And then chop till you drop happened.
And that proves that game truly is impossible on
They were like, yeah, hey, how do we make it?
Sucks.
It sucks ass. And then my final game is Dead or Alive 4. Dead or Alive 4 was also a launch window game. And it was extremely pretty. And I have to commend it because it had online for fighting games. And it was the best online experience for fighting games at that time. It didn't have rollback netcode, but it was super smooth, which is incredible because I don't know what they did. But I don't know what's happened. But it was super smooth. You were able to play people. Funny enough, Dead or Alive 4 is backwards compatible on Xbox One. I was like, shits and giggles, let's see if I can go online.
Don't tell me to show playing.
I played DOA 4 on Xbox Series X, Steve.
We gotta play it.
I did it. I found the people in lobby, and I was like, "There's no fucking way."
You'll probably find the same amount of people in there who playing DOA 6.
And it was crazy because it felt good. I was like, "Wow, I'm able to play it." Problem is, I'm bad. I'm very bad. But it's really good, and I think graphically it was impressive. I think it was the best fighting game you could get, and it was like the first real fighting game on 360.
Oh shit!
So very interesting.
Oh, our trophy light died.
Just like
it needs batteries.
Just like me inside.
Oh.
So that was the launch lineup for 360.
Okay, you unlocked the achievement to my heart.
What I have unlocked is the Xbox Game Pass Pick of the Week.
Pick of the Week! Pick of the Week!
Steve, what's your Pick of the Week?
Okay, he's doing this because this past week I've gotten back into Elden Ring pretty heavy.
Yeah, that ain't no Game Pass. That's crazy.
I know it's little Game Pass, but that's what I've been playing. But what I will do is mention a game that has been living rent-free in my head since I tried it, and that's Banjo Kazooie. Because I played it for the first time on Rare Replay on Game Pass, and was actually very impressed with what little I played of it. I want to go back to it. That's another one of those games that this year I want to beat, because I really enjoyed what I played. I was really impressed at the evolution of 3D platforming on 64 from like Mario 64 from when I had the system to like by the time Banjo Kazooie's coming out, and the animations are impressive and the way the level, it's like, I'm thinking Mario Odyssey was like, oh man, this level design is incredible. They took it from Banjo Kazooie. Like it is so, Mario Odyssey is so Banjo it hurts in terms of the way they put those levels together. I'm like, holy shit. And it's like, wow. So yeah, go play Banjo Kazooie if you never played it.
I've been a Banjo fan since I was a child.
Yeah. I know.
So
like,
that's why I'm like, hearing you talk about it, I'm like,
Like, yeah.
And nuts and bolts sucks. So, my Game Pass Pick of the Week is Power Wash Simulator. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't this the same game as Lawn Mowing Simulator? And you would be incorrect, but very close. So this is a game where you wash things with a power washer. And the people that you're washing these things for should be fined, because there are like the blackest mold or something or dirt. And I don't know how this is happening, but you know what? We're cleaning it. And there's like no music when you do it. There's tons of attachments, and there's like mini puzzle aspects to it to figure out, how high of a pressure should I put it at? What's the angle? And I'm like, this game is kind of enjoyable, and it has co-op to it. And I'm like, this game isn't that bad. And I'm like, this is kind of fun. And I got more games just stacked up in my head, but I was just playing it before we recorded this. And I'm like, I really like this, and I understand why people were just hooked on this damn game now. And I could see if I wasn't doing it for the Game Pass Pick of the Week and I was just playing it, I would be like, I don't know when I'm going to stop, because this shit is fun.
Yeah, I was just watching him play it and just like,
it's just captivating. It's very captivating.
Yeah, you got some dirt over there.
Yep.
Oh, you can jump on there.
I know, and you jump really high, so
You jump real high.
it's very interesting. So that was our picks of the week. So Steve, last week I gave you permission to try to stump me because I'm always the person to try to stump Foxxy Steve. I said, you know what? I'll be the stumper or the stumpy, and I'll try to guess the game. Correct? Is
Yeah,
it
yeah,
game?
you can guess the. We ain't gotta go drill down the character. We can just the game franchise.
We're gonna do the game, and I'm gonna have 1 minute
Ask me questions.
to ask questions.
I've got it locked in. Here we go. Revenge. I'm sure you'll get it though. You're pretty savvy.
We'll see, man. I don't know. I know a lot of things, but we'll see how it goes. 1 minute on the clock. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I can be. All right, and here we go. Is it an Xbox exclusive?
No.
Multi-platform? Is it on Nintendo?
No.
Switch?
No.
Is it a Xbox original title?
No.
Is it 360?
Yes.
Is it a sports game?
Actually, it is an Xbox original title as well.
Is it a sports game?
No.
Racing?
No.
First-person shooter?
No.
Third-person shooter?
Yes.
Is it made by EA?
No.
Is it made by Pandemic?
No.
Oh, God. Is it rated T for teen?
No.
Fuck, third-person shooter. Is it Freedom Fighters?
No. Seriously?
Is it Mercenaries?
No.
Oh, God. You said it came out on next gen and current gen?
Yeah.
And it's third person.
Yeah.
Is it Stranglehold?
No.
It's not Stranglehold. Of course not, because that didn't come out then.
Yep.
Third person shooter made on like that era of games. Damn. I'm kind of drawing a blank. What the hell could I guess?
Ooh.
Oh, God. Dude, ooh, man, the time's up, but I don't...
Final guess. Come on. I believe in you.
I'm really sitting here like, I don't know a third-person shooter that came out then. Oh, fuck. Resistance?
In Resist? No, that's the first person.
I don't know.
What we're looking for was Hitman.
Hitman?
Looking for the Hitman franchise, yes.
Oh, I said a game.
Well, yeah, Hitman was also on...
Well, yeah, you picked a franchise. I meant like a specific game.
A specific game? Oh, well, I mean, Hitman... Blood Money would have been a good one.
Yeah, I guess that
2,
would have been the one.
Any other, yeah.
Because the first and the second one were only on
PS2
and Xbox.
And then
Hitman Blood Money was on Xbox.
It was on
and
Xbox
360.
Yeah, on 360, yeah.
Man.
And then Hitman is currently on. You can get Hitman 3 on Xbox Series X.
I'm not talking about that though.
But yeah, you can do it. But yeah,
Your wording had me confused. I was actually confused. It's fine. This whole time I'm thinking of a singular game. This man said Hitman franchise. And I'm like, oh, cool. That fucked me up. So, whatever. Still better than him. All right. So that's where we're going to...
Excuses. That's all I'm hearing. Anyway.
Excuses. I bet I'm right.
Take it home.
On behalf of myself and Foxxy Steve, thank you guys for listening to Jump In and Play More. If you haven't already, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell by scissoring it. Bing, bing, bing. Right on the ding-a-ling-ling-ling. And, yeah, it keeps you up to date whenever we go live with any new additional content. And, of course, Steve, if you would care to regale the listeners on where they should be listening to it at and what they should be doing.
What you should be doing is going over to our podcast services around the globe and... listening to it there. Spotify, you can check it out there. Just, type in SFXX Play. You will find the latest episode of Jump In Play More on there, along with other content. You can give us a 5-star rating once you've been listening to it. You can also get us on the Apple and or Google podcast services too. Do the same thing there. And I'd love you forever.
All right. With that, thanks you guys for listening, and we'll catch you next week, where we may do Xbox One.
I mean,
we may do Xbox One launch lineup, and boy howdy, that one's going to be a little tougher to nail down because that's when the downloadable revolution started. So we get to look at some downloadable games. So till then, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for you guys for all of it. Stay green.
Stay green?
Stay green.
So is that a new thing?
No, I don't know. Shrek's dick.
Bye, guys!
Thanks, Shrek.